you might have heard you meet the nicest people on a Honda. We'll prove that true with this morning's guest. Meet him coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Redline Power Sports on Highway 501 in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on the 13th annual American Hardball, and we're visiting with one of the auction donors of the event, Jonathan Formo. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for letting us in this morning.
Oh, you're welcome. Come by anytime.
And the little opening you did for us just a couple of minutes ago to get us in the mood of being here, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. We have a real exciting place here. We've got all kind of fun toys to play with. Motorcycles and jet skis and jet boats and four-wheelers and dirt bikes and just all kind of fun toys.
Some serious stuff, albeit toys for many. I mean, some real serious stuff. You don't take it lightly, and obviously safety's a big thing on your mind, but toys are very much in vogue as well.
Absolutely. We're real focused on safety. We always encourage people to take the safety training courses that are available for motorcycles and
right.
ATVs and so forth. And we actually hold some safety classes here at our dealership several times throughout our season so that we can have the public come in and visit for an hour or two and learn a lot of the ins and outs of the proper way to handle a motorcycle on the road, or the proper way to handle an ATV in the woods, or
right.
the same with watercraft when you're riding in the ocean or in the rivers. There's certain ways that you want to ride these things to keep safe on them.
Oh, yeah, and you do those here at the showroom.
Yes. We just had one of our South Carolina Highway Patrol officers that's a motorcycle cop that came in and conducted one. We had some 55 people
No way.
in our break room upstairs, standing room only. Went off real well. It was a motorcycle safety training course, and it's free to the public. And
really? Great.
We offer them just because we want people to protect us, practice safety,
right.
and get out there and enjoy the sport and not get hurt.
Do you all do those regularly, Jonathan, or is that is that on a regular basis? If they called Redline Power Sports, could they find out when the next one would be? Or?
We'll be doing that this year. It's
Good.
something that we worked with the Highway Patrol this year, and we've talked with the ATV people and the
right.
watercraft people, and so a new offer for us this year in 2007 is going to be to offer more safety training in all the products that we sell.
It's fascinating. Lance Thompson was with us yesterday, and I know we got a fascinating lineup this week as he talked about walking around. 44,000 square feet would take quite a while to walk around. This is incredible.
Yeah, we're real pleased with our new showroom. We have been here just a little over a year and a half, 2 years,
right.
and we've been able to acquire all of the brands of motorcycles and four-wheelers and watercraft, pretty much everything but Harley-Davidson, which the Harley people do a great job here, and we're actually starting to team up together to help promote some of the Bike Week things that come on during the year and make that transition work a little bit better. And but with all the products that we have in our showroom, we had to have a large area to display it.
Right.
With 7 different manufacturers of all these products. We actually have over 500 different models for the year model 07.
No way. 500?
Yeah, 500 different
You are
models.
kidding. Well, of course, with all brands recognized, you've got to have quite a bit. It's pretty fascinating. Of course, the real excitement we'll talk about in a few minutes, that Honda Aqua Trax right behind you that you're donating to the Hardball. But for viewers who haven't met you in the past, Jonathan, are you originally from the area?
Well, I was born in South Carolina, raised in Columbia. Spent about 10 or 12 years in Florence, and ended up here at the beach back in 1984, and just fell in love with Myrtle Beach, and knew that this was going to be my home. And at the time, I had come down here to work at Honda of Myrtle Beach back in those days, and knew deep down inside I always wanted to have my own place, and if I ever was going to do it, Myrtle Beach was going to be where I was going to do it. So back in 1987, we broke ground and opened up Redline Cycles, it was called back then. And then from that starting point, we've grown over the years, and we're now celebrating our 20th year in business. And we're just really excited, and quite frankly, I really feel like we're just getting started. So
I think I saw that. I saw something, either you mentioned that or otherwise, exciting to think about, as you say, the tip of the iceberg, just getting started.
Well, one of our goals was to acquire all the brands.
Right.
We have Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Sea-Doo, KTM, Can-Am, Eton. Just you name it.
Any more? Yeah.
If it's a quality brand, we have it. And
Right.
now that we've got that secure, our goal, of course, now is to continue to grow and get better, and eventually we'll build a second location because we're going to outgrow this facility. We've only been here 2 years, and it's already getting small on us. So
My Lord.
we'll be building another location probably in the next couple of years to expand out even further and try to be able to serve the people better.
That's tremendous. Your former location, which seemed like a giant one, was about 12,000
Yeah.
square feet. That seemed pretty tremendous, but of course you hadn't acquired all the brands in the market at that time.
Right. That was kind of a little story about that. Was pretty funny. We had the opportunity. This was in 2000. We had the opportunity to buy out the Yamaha Kawasaki store
Right.
and expand our facility. And of course, to do that, we needed to have a larger showroom. So I went to the state, and they said that shouldn't be a problem. And went to the banker. He said he'd loan me the money to do it. And so we went through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears building a new facility, and then moved in '02, and then got a letter saying that they needed our property about
yeah.
2 weeks after we opened up. So
2 weeks?
2 weeks after we opened up, they had secured the money to carry 31 on over to 544.
Right.
And so we were in the area that was going to be affected. So we ended up negotiating a deal with the state to move on, and it was a lot of hard work there for about a year, but they were very cooperative, and we had a very good resolution, and it enabled us to be able to move just a half mile down the road,
Right.
start all over.
Yeah.
And then we built this larger facility, knowing that we would grow into it, and just recently we added the Suzuki and KTM line of products in the last 3 months, so that kind of rounds out all of our brands that we were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And now we want to fill this place up and move on.
You said 500 different models. That's all the brands for '07.
Right.
Are there pretty dramatic differences between the, or they maybe not dramatic. They're in for different customers. They really want a Honda. They really want a Suzuki, a Kawasaki. What are some of the big differences that the brands would be apart on?
Some of the brands are more focused on certain segments, such as motorcycles, for example. In our motorcycle lines, within the motorcycle category, we have not only big cruisers and big touring models.
Right.
We also have the sport bike models, and then we have the smaller bikes that are very good for starters. We have the off-road machines. We've got street trail machines, which you can ride on or off-road.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the racing competition machines that come in all different sizes. So some of the manufacturers will focus, for example, Suzuki is the strongest manufacturer out there on the sport bike market, whereas Yamaha in the metric world, which
Right.
is what we deal in, they're the strongest in the cruiser market of the metric brands. Honda is the strongest in ATVs, for example, and they're very strong in the motorcycle segment too. They're the number one in the off-road segment, the dirt bikes. They're a strong contender in both sport bike and cruisers. Yamaha the same way. They've got real good sport bikes, and today it's almost like cars. I mean, you got a guy likes a Ford or a Chevrolet or a Dodge or whatever, and it's kind of that way in our business now. You can like a Honda or Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki, but anymore it's almost what color you like, what style you like, and horsepower. That's a big thing. In our watercraft segment, we sell every brand of watercraft made, and Sea-Doo has been the leader in that industry for quite some time, 10, 15 years now. And they've got some 215 horsepower jet skis.
No way.
So for the horsepower junkie, he's going to buy a Sea-Doo. Now in '07, Kawasaki is coming out with a 250 horsepower jet ski. 250 horsepower on a jet ski.
Golly.
So for the person that's got to have all the power, that's the machine. Obviously, the most that we sell are 125 to 175 horsepower, medium-powered machines that people can enjoy and not get too crazy on. So there's all kind of variety out there.
That aspect, when you talked about someone may like a Ford or a Chrysler or a Chevy, obviously they got to travel all around lots of different dealerships to find those different models, whatever their favorites are. Here, you may end up finding somebody who's loved Kawasaki forever but fall in love with a Honda when they walk in the showroom.
It's amazing how many times that people come in here for one brand
Right.
and end up leaving with another.
That's wonderful.
One of the advantages, there's pros and cons with having everything in one store. I think the pros outweigh the cons. One of the advantages is that we do have every brand that someone that is looking for this style of motorcycle, we have every brand made.
Right.
So they can compare that Honda against that Yamaha, against that Kawasaki, against that Suzuki, right side by side. We have them sitting right side by side on the showroom. So it makes it a lot easier for the consumer that he doesn't have to go this side of town, that side of town, looking for the Honda dealer over here, the Yamaha dealer here, the Suzuki guy, and all this. We've got them all in one showroom, so they can really get a heads-up comparison of what horsepower, what weight, what speed, what price, all that stuff we can compare right here.
And that's a great point. As we sit here now, it really is fascinating for anyone who hadn't been here. And of course, you all have great hours. I think it was 9 to 6, Monday through Friday. Obviously, all open a couple hours. Thanks again for letting us in early this morning. But to get a sense, just to pop by in an easy location.
Yeah, we're open 9 to 5 on Saturday also, so 6 days a week now. We used to be open only 5 days a week, but the demand Myrtle Beach, the growth of Myrtle Beach and this area has been so much. We went to a 6-day work week, and so we try to cater to the customers and make it to where they can come in and look at all the different products, make their choice, and get what they want and go home happy.
When do you have time to get out and ride, Jonathan?
Oh, I try to do it on the weekends, of course, and fortunately I've got a great staff, and and it does free me up sometimes to take a little time off here and there and go riding, or we go to a lot of dealer shows. Of course, one of the things with all the different manufacturers now, we're doing a lot of traveling to the dealer shows. So a lot of that time we'll take that travel time and kind of make it business / vacation. Maybe take a day or two extra. Sometimes I'll take my wife and children with me, and other times it's all business and I can't. But it does give us an opportunity to travel all over the country and really see some great places.
And you knew, and I think you said, and you haven't shared that yet, but from 1970 to 82, I think you were a professional racer. You said you knew that Myrtle Beach was going to be the place for you. A lot of folks have only been to a couple places, not tough for them to determine, but as a racer, you'd obviously been all over, I guess, the East Coast, all over the country.
Exactly. When I was racing back in the 70s and early 80s, our races consisted of all up and down the East Coast and west over to about Alabama. It was still kind of in its infancy at the time. It's not near the popular sport that it is today. But during my racing days, I always knew that I wanted to have a dealership, and didn't ever know how it was going to happen, but fortunately, after I retired from racing, I worked in other people's dealerships and learned all the aspects from turning wrenches or working in parts, sales, and general management, kind of getting the feel for what it takes to operate a facility like this. Then finally in 1987, took the plunge and opened up a little repair shop and and kept working and to grow it to what it is today.
So you imagine when you were a teenager, when you started racing in 70, at some point over that 12-year period, you imagine yourself owning your own dealership. Could you ever have imagined it would have turned into something like this?
Well, it's kind of funny because there was an article in the state newspaper from the 70s, and they talked with me about racing. I was racing Columbia, and this was the state paper. And, and in that article, and this must have been probably 74 or something like that.
So you were 20,
I was talking about someday I want to have a shop, and truly, someone asked me this not too long ago about did I ever think that it would grow into this. Well, I didn't know how big we could grow it, but I really did have this in mind. In other words, my intention was to grow it to be the biggest and the best we could possibly do, and we've come a long way and we're doing okay, but I feel like we're really just getting started, and we really in the next 5 to 10 years are really going to be able to sharpen our skills and be able to give even better customer service and teach people about our products, because most all of us that work here are enthusiasts that are riders, boaters, jet skiers, whatever, and And it really helps when you've got someone that actually rides the product and uses the product
Right.
that you're talking to, that can help guide someone that may be new into the business.
That's a great point.
And not really understand. A lot of times people come in thinking they want this kind of vehicle, when really what they're telling us, they would be better suited with one that would suit their need a little better.
Right.
So we try and match the product to the customer's desire, and it's safer for them.
Oftentimes, I guess folks come in and just want to make a decision on the spot that day. But you really, if you take the time and spend more time with them, they can become an enthusiast as opposed to a one-trick pony there.
And that's the thing. In the 37 years that I've been in this industry, I've seen that happen way too many times where
Right.
someone will come in, they won't learn how to ride a vehicle properly.
Right.
They may get hurt on it, and then they wash their hands of it.
Yeah.
And we have such a wonderful sport. If you educate yourself a little bit about it, learn. If you're not a rider of a motorcycle, you can take a course and learn how to ride it properly, and it makes the sport a whole lot more enjoyable.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, you're not likely going to fall or get injured if you've been taught properly, and you know the safety aspects of it. And secondly, once you get some riding time under your belt and you really get hooked on it, I mean, it's a different world out there when you're riding on a motorcycle or a jet ski or a four-wheeler. It's just a whole different world out there that you can't experience without ever actually doing it. And we want people to do it and be safe so they can have a good experience.
And send them to some good opportunities to have some camaraderie in it, some opportunities to be out in the county or in places where you've got a lot of space, open space for folks to arrive.
Right. We've also are helping trying to get some riding areas for off-road riding.
Right.
We've got a couple of tracks that we've got going here in the Myrtle Beach area that people are allowed to go out and pay $10 to ride.
Right.
And can really enjoy the riding aspect of it. We're trying to further that so that we'll eventually have vehicles that people can rent for someone that may want
Right.
to try it and not necessarily go spend $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 to buy one of these vehicles and not know if they like it.
Sure.
They'll be able to come out and rent a vehicle, ride it for a day or a weekend or whatever, and then kind of make more of an educated decision on if this is something that they'd like to do.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Let's get to the hardball. We got just a few minutes, Jonathan, and it is incredible. And of course, right behind us, folks have been saw it behind Lance yesterday, and hopefully for the rest of the week, as we've got some folks in here. That Aquatrax R12 Honda, gorgeous vehicle, and it really is a vehicle. I mean, it's and of course the trailer. I think you all have donated a trailer as well.
Right. Yeah, it's a little hard to move it around without a trailer, so we make it a package for the Heartball so that whoever wins this thing will be able to hook it to their car and take it to the water. The ski is a really nice ski. Honda has a factory right here in Timmonsville, South Carolina.
Oh, yeah, sure.
60
Here in
miles
our
or so.
viewing area. That's right. Most of our viewers are in the PD.
And every single one of these Honda Aquatrax are made right there in Timmonsville.
I love it.
A lot of people don't realize that. Also in that same plant, all of the Honda four-wheelers are made right there.
Really?
So they're actually produced. People know that Honda's a Japanese company.
Sure.
But Honda has quite a few American plants
Oh, yeah.
with thousands of American employees
Oh, yeah.
that actually build, produce, and they're not just assembling it. They're actually producing it, making the engines and making the crankshafts and welding the frames together and building
Really?
these things
Yeah, I
from
don't
the
think I
ground
knew
up.
that. Have
No,
you
no.
been up and taken a tour of the
Yes.
Timmonsville facility?
Yes, it's a fantastic facility. A brand new Honda four-wheeler is ridden off the assembly line every 43 seconds.
Oh, come on.
Every 43. I never believed it until I
In
saw it with my
Timmonsville,
own
every
eyes.
43 seconds?
A brand new four-wheeler is ridden off the assembly line every 43 seconds.
Just for an hour or two a day. You don't mean like...
All day
Oh,
long.
come on.
They can produce 1,200 four-wheelers in one day up there.
Do they open that up for tours or anything?
Yes,
Is that-
yes. There are tours that we're actually trying to get another one set up now for our staff. We've grown our staff to 33 people now,
Is
and
that right?
a lot of our people haven't had the opportunity to tour that facility. So we're setting up a new tour together.
Let me know when y'all
I
do
sure
that,
will.
Jonathan. I'd love to make the trip, and maybe we can go film up there sometime. We used to be real active with the Boy Scouts and the PD, and the and the GM at the plant at the time was on the board there, and it was fascinating interviewing him for the Hardball in Florence, talking about their at that time recent joining the community. But it is a magnificent facility. And as you say, thousands, tens of thousands of folks, Americans, are employed nationwide by Honda all over Columbus, Ohio, and it's incredible.
Yeah, that's right.
Incredible.
They've done a great job. And a lot of things, too, people don't realize the dealerships. You know, we are just one dealer with 33 families. You know, we have 33 people here, and there's 1,250 Honda dealerships throughout the country.
Wow.
And there's 1,500 Yamaha and Kawasaki. I mean, there's literally thousands of dealerships that employ that, you know, literally hundreds and hundreds of people. So these metric manufacturers have done a real good job to support our economy and help build in the United States.
You mentioned 33 families, 33 folks here who have families. You've got a family as well, Jonathan. Are any of them involved in the deal in Redline Power Sports?
Yes, I have 3 sons and my wife Julie, and Julie takes care of our youngest son Jordan, who's 11, in the 6th grade at Myrtle Beach Middle School, and then my oldest son works with us here at Redline. He's our parts manager here. He's just back. He was in Los Angeles for the past 5 years, and came back this past May. And so we're glad to have him home now. And then my second son, Dustin, has worked here a little bit. He went back to become a CPA. He graduates in May with his Master's of Accounting.
Really?
And will be a CPA. So hopefully he can help us handle the books down the road.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yes, all 3 sons. Hopefully Jordan, when he gets a little older, he'll be involved in the business too. So we're real pleased with what we have going on.
Absolutely. You know, folks hear the term, you talked about cycles, Redline cycles back in '87. Redline Power Sports, that's a pretty amazing jump there.
Yes, what happened, back in the 60s and 70s, we were in the motorcycle business.
Right.
When that's all we sold was motorcycles. But then as ATVs came around, the all-terrain vehicles, which are the four-wheelers of today, and then the watercraft, the personal watercraft, which most people call jet skis. Now we have the big jet boats from 15 feet up to 23 feet long with the Yamaha and the Sea-Doo jet boats. We really became more of a power sports company in our industry. Like Harley-Davidson, for example, great company, great motorcycle. They're in the motorcycle business.
Right.
We have motorcycles also, but we also have watercraft and ATVs and boats and everything else. So it gives us a wider variety of product to sell.
What prompted this $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 donation to the American Heart Association, Jonathan?
Well, we got involved with the Heart Association probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Right.
Over the years, in our 20-year history, we've always donated product and tried to help give back to the community that supports us. And so we'll give away four-wheelers, motorcycles, jet skis, whatever. And we got involved with the Heart Association, and it was just such a good feeling. I mean, everybody, like I've heard you say in the past, everybody's had someone in their family at some point with a heart disease, heart attack, or whatever.
Right.
So it affects all of us. And so it's a good way to help give back to the community. We've got great products that people love to buy, so they always bring good money at the auctions for the heart ball, and it helps us achieve those goals of gaining the monies needed to help fight this disease.
Fight heart disease and stroke. What would this model, this Aquatrax R12, Jonathan, sell here in the showroom for?
This model right here is the 2-seater Honda Aquatrax R12, and this sitting on a trailer would be about $10,400.
No way.
Yeah.
$10,400.
$10,400.
That is fantastic. When you think about, of course, the links folks go to support later this week on Friday, we've got Larry Amick with us, who you're kind enough to open up again for us to be here on Friday, who's the co-founder of Understanding Corporation, a triangle-based technology company, donating $20,000, $22,500 to the event. They've got their own reasons. You, obviously, as you say, to help fight heart disease as well as to get the word out about Redline, but a $10,000 jet ski, tremendous gift.
It really makes you feel good. I've attended the Heart Ball now for the last 5 years, and it's a great time. And when you see and hear the stories that people get up there and talk about how they've had issues with either children or parents or relatives that had heart problems, and some of the miracles that have happened,
yes,
and the ability that the doctors have today to do the things that they do are just right. Amazing, and it's really it makes you feel good that that we know that we can at least help by giving back to the community and helping learn how to fight this terrible disease.
Absolutely. Jonathan, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Okay, Greg.
Thanks for
Enjoyed
opening your doors. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Jonathan Formo coming up next. The date's February 17th. The event's the 13th Annual American Heart Ball. The place is Kingston Plantation. Amazing donors like Jonathan Formo and Redline Power Sports. To help get to a goal around $400,000, you've got to have donors like Jonathan. You've got to have items like that Aquatrax right behind him. $10,400. We've got to have folks in the room that can put auction bids in to drive that number up to help us reach that goal. Heart disease and stroke are the number 1 and number 3 killer. Give the Heart Association a call. Be a part of that night, 843-626-3939.